Okay, so it says we should be live. Sorry about the delay, if there is one. Apparently, there's been a little bit of miscommunication thanks to daylight savings time. So my guest Xerius, or my co-host Xerius, is actually going to be delayed for a little bit, but that's okay. I do happen to actually have a backup plan of sorts. A little bit of history that we can cover while we wait on Xerius. So, anyways, I'm sorry about being late to the stream that's already been delayed a bit anyways, but I do welcome you all here, and yeah, anyways, so to get start off, one of the ideas that's been suggested, iLoser says good evening all, good evening iLoser. One of the ideas that's been suggested by Xerius, and I do think is a decent idea, is to actually maybe potentially cover full-on books. Now, so consider this to be a little bit of a test before we actually jump into Will of Iron. While we wait for Xerius, we're actually going to be looking at a little bit of history for us from World War I, the first tank-on-tank battle, if that's okay with you guys. Bluebird says the delay is a couple of seconds. Yeah, there is a little delay. But anyways, so now for those of you who do not know, the first tank-on-tank battle occurred in April 23rd of 1918, as described here. But I'll actually, Brother Ole says good evening, Brother Ole. But yeah, let's actually go ahead, and this is from one of the men that actually fought in the first battle, which is the Battle of Beretino, part of the German Spring Offensive that occurred in early 1918. Was one of the big early breakthroughs that the Allies, or Entente at the time, was desperately trying to stop. So let's get through and start reading, shall we? On April 23rd, 1918, 3 tanks covered with their green camouflage nets were lying hidden in the gas-drenched wood of Bois-et-l'Abbé, near Villebretino, awaiting the impending German attack. Carl says hi, Ace. Hey, Carl. The crews had worn masks for the greater part of the day, and their eyes were sore, their throats dry. Darkness came, but with it 2 enemy planes flying low over the tree tops. They dropped very lights that fell in our midst, showing up the bulky outlines of the tanks in vivid relief. We were discovered. An hour later, when clouds hid the moon, 3 huge toad-like forms, grunting and snorting, crept out of the wood to a spot some 100 yards to the rear. Just before dawn, on 24th April, a tremendous bombardment deluged the wood. I was aroused in the dark by someone shaking me violently. Gas, sir, gas! I struggled up, half awake, inhaled a foul odor, and quickly slipped on my mask. My eyes were running. I could not see. My breath came with difficulty. I could hear the trees crashing to the ground near me. For a moment I was stricken with panic. Then suddenly a thought spread through my confused mind. If you are going to die, why not die decently? I listened to that inner voice and pulled myself together, only to discover that I had omitted to attach my nose clip. Holding hands with my section commander and the orderly who aroused us, we groped our way to the open. As we stumbled forward, tree trunks unseen in that infernal gloom separated our joined hands, and we were tripped up by bushes and brambles. Suddenly, a hoarse cry came from the orderly. "My mouthpiece is broken, sir." "Run like hell for the open," shouted the section commander. There was a gasp, and then we heard him crashing away through the undergrowth like a hunted beast. Soon I found my tank covered with its tarpaulin. The small oblong doors were open, but the interior was empty. On the ground, in the wrappings of the tarpaulin, however, I felt something warm and fleshy. It was one of our crew, lying full length, wearing his mask, but dazed by gas. Behind the trenches, a battery of artillery was blazing away, the gunners in their gas masks feverishly loading and unloading like creatures of a nightmare. Meanwhile, as shells grew in intensity, a few wounded men and some stragglers came into sight. Their report was depressing. Villa Bretino had been captured, and with it many of our men. The Boche had almost broken through. Jacob Kennedy says, "Here comes the pain." Well, we're actually reading this while we wait for Xerius. He's been delayed a little bit, and because of daylight savings time, he's been delayed a little bit more than I was expecting, we'll say. Brother Ole says, replacing a few words here and there from that story, it could have been an Imperial Guard versus Plague Marine novel. Yeah, but this gets way more. Okay, so by the way, the tanks that were used in the battle. Here's a good example. The British utilized this particular vehicle, this particular type of tank that this guy is operating. It is the Mark IV, a distinct rhombus-shaped vehicle based on the Mark series, obviously. With a crew of 7 men, it was you had four gunners, a tank commander, I think a driver, and then a mechanic who basically was a secondary driver to keep the engines in operation while it was moving. But there was actually 2 versions of the Mark IV tank. You had a male version and a female version. The male version is armed with 2 quick-firing 6-pounders, in addition to 3 machine guns, 2 on the sides and then 1 in the front. And then the female version is an all-machine gun armament. But these things also had a top speed around 4 miles an hour. But anyways, let's get back to it. Alright, so let's get to about where we were. Okay, so alright, so we've already read through this. Here we go. By this time, 2 of my crew had developed nasty gas symptoms, spitting, coughing, and getting purple in the face. They were led away to the rear, one sprawling limply in a wheelbarrow found in the wood. We waited till the infantry brigadier appeared on the scene with 2 orderlies. He was unaware of the exact position ahead, and accompanied by our section commander and the runners, he went forward to investigate. In 10 minutes, one of the runners came back, limping badly, hit in the leg. In another 10 minutes, the second returned, his left arm torn by shrapnel. Then 20 minutes after that, walking unhurt and serene, through the barrage came the brigadier and our captain. The news was grave. We had suffered heavy losses and lost ground, but some infantry were still holding out in the switch line between Cachi and Villa Beretino. If this line were overwhelmed by the Boche, the Boche would obtain possession of the high ground, dominating Amiens, and would perhaps force us to evacuate that city and drive a wedge between the French and British armies. A serious consultation was held, and the order came. Proceed to Cachi switch line and hold it at all costs. We put on our masks once more and plunged, like divers, into the gas-laden wood. As we strove to crank up, one of the 3 men turning the huge handle collapsed. We put him against the tree, gave him some tablets of ammonia to sniff, and then, as he did not seem to be coming around, we left him, for time was passing. Out of a crew of 7, 4 men, red-rimmed, bulging eyes, only remained. So the gas has already alone taken this particular tank's crew down to half strength. And it appears from the descriptions that what they've been affected by is very specifically chlorine, because one of the symptoms of chlorine exposure is that it causes your eyelids to swell shut, temporarily blinding you and doing that sort of thing. Now, it is also a very lethal gas as well, but as you can tell here, they're already, even though they're going into a fight, they're already somewhat physically compromised by it, even though they're still going into the fight like this. The 3 tanks, 1 male armed with 2 6-pounders of machine guns, and 2 females, armed with machine guns only, crawled out of the wood and set off over the open ground towards Cachi. Ahead, the German barrage stood like a wall of fire in our path. There was no break in it anywhere. It seemed impossible that we could pass through that deadly area unhit. I decided to attempt a zigzag course, as somehow it seemed safer. Luck was with us. Going top speed, we went safely through the danger zone, and soon reached the catchy lines. But there was no sign of our infantry. Suddenly, out of the ground 10 yards away, an infantryman rose, waving his rifle furiously. We stopped, he ran forward and shouted to the flap, "Look out! Jerry tanks about!" and then as swiftly disappeared into the trench again. I informed the crew, and a great thrill ran through us all. Opening the loophole, I looked out. There, some 300 yards away, a round, squat-looking monster was advancing. Behind it crawled 2 more of these armed tortoises. The tank in question that he would have been running up against, let's see if we can... There's no picture of it here, but the tank in question is the A7V. It was the go-to, the only tank that the Germans actually produced that actually saw any combat. Unfortunately for the Germans, they never actually produced very many of them. Only about 20 in total were ever made. However, they did actually have a decent armament for the time and were comparable in speed. They did also, however, have some significant disadvantages in comparison to their British counterparts. The armor was not face-hardened, meaning that even though it was of similar strength or similar thickness, it wasn't able to... It was easier for armor-piercing rounds to defeat, for one thing. Secondly, the crew size was much, much higher than the British counterpart, which meant trying to command the tank could be something of a challenge. Thirdly, it was very high center of gravity. I have, by the way, sent you guys a pic so you can check it out, see what it looks like. But it had a high center of gravity as well. But it is how, nevertheless, by the way, the crew was 18 crew for this monster of a tank. And it was, however, equipped with a single 57mm cannon as well as 6 machine guns, 2 in each side and plus an additional 2 in the rear. With the exception of one tank, all A7Vs were male, and the one female tank does not appear to have actually participated in this specific engagement. So we can safely say that this was a male tank. Anyways, let's get on with it. I accidentally... Oh yeah, okay. So we had met our rivals at last. For the first time in history, tank was encountering tank. The 6-pounder gunners crouching on the floor, their backs against the engine cover, loaded their guns expectantly. We still kept on a zigzag course, threading the gaps between the lines of hastily dug trenches, coming near the small protected belt of wire. We turned left, and the right gunner, peering through his narrow slit, made a sighting shot. The shell burst some distance beyond the leading enemy tank. No reply came. A second shot boomed out, leading just to the right, but again no reply. Suddenly, against our steel wall, a hurricane of hail pattered. The interior was filled with a myriads of sparks and flying splinters. Something rattled against the steel helmet of the driver sitting next to me, and my face was stung with minute fragments of steel. So, what has happened here? Alright, so the crew flung themselves flat on the floor. The driver ducked his head and drove straight on. Above the roar of our engine could be heard the staccato, rat-tat-tat-tat of machine guns, and another furious jet of bullets sprayed our steel side, the splinters clanging viciously against the engine cover. The Jerry tank had treated us to a broadside of armored-piercing bullets. And not only that, it sounds like the bullets, even the ones that aren't penetrating, are causing spalling in the tank, which means that the armor is starting to flake off on the inside and swirl around inside the tank, which is not a particularly good thing for the health of the men in it. So I am getting some messages. So Xerius is going to join the call. And I think we're actually... Hey, Xerius, how goes it?
There you are.
Sorry about the delay. Alright, well, anyways, so we've actually made it around halfway through. You want to actually read the rest of this, or... before we actually start the comic itself?
I suppose you can continue. I'll just need a link to the comic
Oh, sure. Sec.
real quick.
Yeah, I'll be able to provide one pretty. Let me look it up again. It shouldn't be too difficult. Here we go.
Thankfully tonight we have a pretty decent roster of voice changers, so that'll be fun.
All right. All right, so here we go. I'm going to send this off to you. There, it is now in the link in the video, in the stream. So you should be able to read it from there. And I believe the point we were at was about halfway down. Jerry had treated us to a broadside of armored-piercing bullets.
Where did you send the link?
It's in the video chat. Or alternatively here, let me just send it into our messages.
I don't know where you sent it, but I'm not seeing it anywhere.
All right, well, here's the messages for you, so you can check it there.
Oh, I was referring to the comic, not what you're reading.
Oh, the comic? Oh, sure, that. No worries. Here we go. This is the issue we are going to be on.
There we go.
All right. But yeah, I decided while we waited on you that we'd go through and test out the idea. You suggested reading books, so I thought, why not read about the world's first tank versus tank battle?
Ooh, fascinating.
All right, so you want to pick up where I left off, or shall I be the one to continue on that?
No, continue.
Okay. Taking advantage of a dip in the ground, we got beyond range, and then turning, we maneuvered to get the left gunner onto the moving target. Owing to our gas casualties, the gunner was working single-handed, his right eye being too swollen with the gas. He aimed with the left. In addition, as the ground was heavily scarred with shell holes, we kept going up and down like a ship in the heavy sea, making accurate shooting difficult. His first shot fell some 30 yards in front, and the next went beyond. Nearing the village of Cathy, I saw to my astonishment that the two female tanks were slowly limping away to the rear. They had both been hit by shells almost immediately on their arrival, and had great holes in their sides. As their Lewis guns were useless against the heavy armor plate of the enemy, their gaping sides no longer afforded them any defense against machine gun bullets. They had nothing to do but withdraw from action. We were still lucky enough to dodge the enemy shelling, although the twisting and turning once or twice almost brought us on top of our own trenches. While we were ranging on the leading German tank, our infantry were standing in their trenches watching the duel with tense interests, like spectators in the pit of a theater. Looking down on one occasion, I saw to my horror that we were going straight down into a trench full of men who, huddled together, were yelling at the tops of their voices to attract our attention. A quick signal to the gearsman seated in the rear of the tank, and we turned swiftly, avoiding catastrophe by a second. Another raking broadside of armor-piercing bullets gave us our first casualty, a bullet passing through the fleshy part of both legs of the Lewis gunner at the rear, after piercing the side of the tank. We had no time to put on more than a temporary dressing, and he lay on the floor bleeding and groaning, while the 6-pounders boomed over his head, and empty shell cases clattered all around him. The roar of our engine, the nerve-wracking rat-a-tat of our machine guns blazing at the Boche infantry, and the thunderous boom of the 6-pounders, all bottled up in that narrow space, filled our ears with tumult. Added to this, we were half stifled by fumes of petrol and cordite. Again, we turned and proceeded at a slower pace. The left gunner, registering carefully, hit the ground right in front of the Jerry tank. I took a risk and stopped the tank for a moment. The pause was justified. A carefully aimed shot hit the turret of the German tank, bringing it to a standstill. Another roar and yet another white puff at the front of the tank detonated a second hit. Peering with swollen eyes through his narrow slit, the elated gunner shouted words of triumph that were drowned by the roaring of the engine. Then once more, with great deliberation, he aimed and hit for the third time. Through a loophole, I saw the tank heel over to one side, and then a door opened, and out ran the crew. We knocked the monster out. I signed the machine gunner, and he pulled volley after volley into the retreating figures. My nearest enemy being now out of action, I turned to look at the other two, who were coming forward slowly. So, a little bit additional information that is not in this memoir, but I did do some research on this story, and I can confirm. The particular German tank that was knocked out was named the German tank Nixie at this particular battle. Although knocked out isn't actually completely accurate, because the German crew, minus the 5 men that were killed retreating when the machine gunner opened up on them, so the remaining 13 crew of this A7V ended up actually later returning to the tank, starting it up, and tried putting it in reverse, which did work for a while, but the tank did eventually break down, and they ended up blowing up the tank rather than letting it fall into British hands. But, so a little bit more information regarding that. Anyways. Now I thought, we shall not last... okay, so... Alright, so here we go. As the German infantry were still advancing, the 6-pounder gunner sent round after round of case shot in their direction, which, scattering like the charge of a shotgun, spread havoc in their ranks. Now I thought, we shall not last very long. The 2 great tanks were creeping forward relentlessly. If they both concentrated their fire on us at once, we would be finished. We sprinkled the neighborhood of one of them with a few sighting shots, when, to my intense joy and amazement, I saw it slowly go backwards. Its companion did likewise, and in a few minutes they both had disappeared from sight, leaving our tank the sole possessor of the field. This situation, however gratifying, soon displayed numerous disadvantages. We were now the only thing above ground, and naturally the German artillery made savage efforts to wipe us off the map. Up and down we went, followed by a trail of bursting shells. I was afraid that at any minute a shell would penetrate the roof and set the petrol alight, making the tank a roaring furnace before we could escape. Then I saw an aeroplane flying overhead not more than 100 feet up. A great black cross was on each wing. As it crossed over us, I could clearly see the figures of the pilot and the observer, when something round and black dropped from it. I watched it for a fraction of a second, horrified. The front of the tank suddenly bound up into the air, and the tank seemed to stand on end. Everything shook, rattled, and jarred. We fell back to earth with a crash, and then continued our journey unhurt. Our steel walls had held nobly, but how much more would they endure? A few minutes later, as we were turning, the driver failed to notice that we were on the edge of a steep shell hole. Down we went with a crash, so suddenly that one of the gunners, taken unawares, fell forward on top of me. The driver, in order to right the tank, jerked open the throttle to its fullest extent. We snorted up the opposite lip of the crater at full speed, but just when we were about to clamber over the edge, the engine stopped. Our nose pointing heavenwards, a lovely stationary target for the Boche artillery. A deadly silence ensued. After the intolerable racket of the past few hours, it seemed to us uncanny. Now we could hear the whining of shells and the vicious crump as they exploded near at hand. Fear entered our hearts. We were inclined at such a steep angle that we found it impossible to crank up the engine again. Every second we expected to get a shell through the top. Almost lying on their sides, the crew strained and heaved at starting the handle, but to no effect. Our nerves were on edge. There was but one thing left, to put the tank in reverse gear, release the rear brake, and let it run backwards down the shell hole under its own wake. Back we slid, and happily the engine began to sputter. Then, carefully nursing the throttle, the driver changed gear, and we climbed out unhurt. What sweet music was the roar of the engine in our ears now! But the day was not yet over. As I peeked through my flap, I noticed that the Bosch infantry were forming up some distance away, preparing for an attack. Then my heart bounded with joy, for away on the right I saw 7 small whippets, the newest and fastest type of tank, racing into action. Alright, so let's talk about the whippet here a little quick. The whippet was actually a light to medium tank. It did actually get a really good reputation in the war, to such an extent that for a while all light tanks were actually referred to as whippets for a while. Even the Renault FT of all things. Even though the whippet is now a relatively obscure vehicle by these today's standards. But it was a very fast little machine at 8 miles an hour, for the time anyways. And it also carried a crew of 3, with 4 machine guns in it typically. Although sometimes there would be a 4th crew member. But the way it worked was they had a commander, a gunner, and a driver. And the gunner would basically, the 4 machine guns were basically placed facing all 4 directions. So the gunner would just go to the various machine guns as needed. But yeah, it's considered a pretty good little tank for what it's worth. You okay there, Xerius?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so anyways. So. They came on at 10 to 15 miles an hour, heading straight for the German infantry. This is actually a little bit faster than their max speed, but it's it's not too out of bounds, so we'll say they were going 8 miles an hour. Heading straight for the German infantry. I could see the latter scattering in all directions. The whippets plunged into the midst of them, ran over them, spitting fire into their retreating ranks. Their work was soon over. They had nipped an attack in the bud, but only 3, their tracks dripping with blood, came back out of the 7. The other 4 were left burning out there in the front. Their crews could not hope to be made prisoners after such slaughter. So I did actually some more research on that particular part of the engagement as well. Turns out the 7 whippets, Captain Goopoo says, hey, sorry I'm late, that's okay. We're actually starting off with a little bit of history, the first tank-on-tank battle. So anyways, the 7 whippets that just rushed out there, ended up catching 2 entire German battalions in the open. For those who don't know, a battalion at this point would have had about 1,000 men. So they caught 2,000 Germans just out in the open. Apparently they killed or wounded around 400 in that one single engagement. Just like that. So yeah, quite a bit of, quite something. Then, near Villa Beretino, about 1,000 yards away, appeared a 4th German tank. The left gunner opened fire immediately, and a minute later the reply came swift and sharp. 3 shells hitting the ground alongside us. Pursuing the same tactics, we increased our speed and then turned. We heard a tremendous crack, and the tank continued to turn round in a circle. "What the hell are you doing?" I roared at the driver in exasperation. He looked at me in bewilderment and made another effort, but we still turned round and round. Peeping out, I saw one caterpillar track doubled high in the air. We had been hit by Bosch artillery at last, 2 of the track plates being blown clear away. I decided to quit. The engine stopped. Defiantly, we blazed away our last few rounds at the slopes near Villa Beretino, and then crept gingerly out of the tank, the wounded man riding on the back of a comrade. We made for the nearest trench when rat-tat-tat-tat, and the air became alive with bullets. We flopped quickly to the ground, waited breathlessly whilst the bullets threw up the dirt a few feet away. Then the shooting ceased, and we got up again and ran swiftly forward. By a miracle, nothing touched us. We reached the parapet of a trench. Our faces were black with grime and smoke, and our eyes bloodshot. The astonished infantrymen gazed at us open-mouthed. as if we were apparitions from a ghostly land. Take your bayonets out of the way, we yelled, and tumbled into the trench. So that is the end of the memoir. So what do you think, Xerius?
Well, it was definitely interesting.
Captain Caboose says this is this the one about the whippet that ran havoc behind enemy line for like a week in World War I? Not quite. This is actually a completely different engagement, but I do know what you're talking about. But yeah, this is a completely different engagement. But yeah, this was the first tank versus tank battle of Villa Beretino. So definitely worth a read if you guys have the time, and I would suggest highly doing so. But with that said, let's actually get to the comic, the main event that we were going to actually be covering anyways. So, Will of Iron, the 10th issue.
Maybe just a bit before that, I would like to talk to you about the reading novel idea again.
Okay.
Now that we're actually talking a bit here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was looking at, and I only just managed to find something that doesn't require money, as cheap as that sounds, is a novel series called Skullduggery Pleasant.
Okay.
When I first read this, I quite enjoyed it. Of course, that's still a few years ago, so who's to judge on that one?
Okay.
But it's a really interesting series. Basically, it's about this girl. I don't know if she's like some kind of chosen child or something. I can't quite remember.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, one day she's living a normal life, then the next she's thrust into this world of magic and doomsday, and now her partner slash best friend is a skeleton detective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to give this a try next Thursday or something, but I think
Maybe.
I think you might enjoy it.
Well, I know next Thursday what we're probably going to do is High Republic Adventures with Osmegon is what I'm probably going to be doing next week. But yeah, we could give that a go.
Would you rather do that absolute cancer, or would you rather do something actually good?
Well, good question. I guess we could put it up to a poll for the community to decide.
Let's give it a go then.
All right. Well, we can do that as soon as the stream ends. How's that?
Sounds good.
And
I also like how the summary at the back of the first book is: meet Skullduggery Pleasant, detective, magician, warrior. Oh yes, and dead. But no, seriously, Skullduggery Pleasant himself is quite the nice character. I mean, he's got a pretty snazzy suit. He dresses quite sharply. Very nice indeed.
Captain Caboose says, I would pay if you guys read Shadow Sword or Gunheads. Interesting.
Never heard of it.
Might have to have a look at both of those. But anyways, let's get on to the comic itself, if it's all right with everyone else.
Indeed.
All right, so it looks like it starts on page 4. Strawman says, have to read two War Boss, 1 Grot. Oh dear.
Why does that sound like some kind of Reddit fan fiction?
Because it is.
Oh. Is it that type of fan fiction?
Yes. To give you, in case you haven't figured it out yet, it's a joke based on 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed.
Well then, I don't want to touch that, and that is all I will say.
Strawman says, "What are you doing, step boss?" No, no.
What we gonna do on the bed, boss?
Oh no. All right. Well, anyways, so
I believe this is either the Inquisitor
it is.
or
I'm pretty sure
it's one of the Grey Knights.
either or. I think you got the voice right.
Indeed. Just zoom in a bit more there so I can actually read.
It looks like it's the Grey Knights. Or no, yeah, it's the Grey Knights.
Yeah, it's the Grey Knights. I think you had this guy's voice last time.
Okay.
Besides, I don't want to be talking to myself again.
All right. So, I repeat, you shall cut your engines and prepare to be boarded. Compliance is necessary. I must assure you, Captain, the Grey Knights will carry out their mission.
Compulsory. Not necessary.
Yep. Oh, did I mess that up?
Yeah, a little bit.
Compliance is compulsory. Yeah, sorry.
Let me just get something to prop my mic up because this is way too low. There we go. Much better. Ah, yes. The chaplain. Which one was it again?
So, Captain Gaboose says, with regards to
This one.
Okay.
Captain, the forces of the Inquisition cannot be allowed to board this vessel.
They will not be satisfied by anything less. The longer we delay, the worse their suspicions grow. Is it possible that they know?
If granted the freedom to investigate this ship, it is certain that they will know.
I
The
think
evidence of shame. The evidence of our shame is close at hand.
then we are left with little choice. Your request to board us is denied. You have no business here, Justicar. So I guess I'll voice this Dark Angels too, or no, this not Dark Angels, Grey Knight as well, or
Do the one on the left, I'll do the one on the right.
all right. They only delay the inevitable and provide further cause for suspicion.
And yet, were we really to expect such a proud ancient chapter to simply accede to our demands? Their rituals are well guarded. We know this to be true. The reluctance to be boarded is not in itself any indication of heresy. More, it is our affront.
All right. So was I think you were voicing, or was I?
I was voicing the inquisitorial psycho bitch.
Okay.
Excuse my language there, slip of the tongue.
So
I've been practicing my feminine voice a little bit this week, so this should be a bit more feminine than usual.
okay.
If I can get in the right tone. Never the. Ugh. Yep, get a voice crack first. That. Get that out of the way. Okay. Nevertheless, they cannot be trusted. They seek to conceal the truth. There is evidence of corruption aboard that vessel, Justica. The Dark Angels must be brought to justice.
I see no other option. We must prepare for boarding. And Emperor, forgive us if you are wrong, Inquisitor.
Ho ho.
Alright, so I know I was voicing one of these guys, but I think you were as well.
You were doing the Riddick looking dude. I think I was doing the Fallen. I do believe. Oh wow, that's a pretty large, sizable Iron Warriors fleet. Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting.
Alright, so I guess you can start off. I think the first line is you.
Yeah. Rendix, you have done well. Wait. Which one of them is Rendix again?
The guy with the glasses.
Okay, yep. Yeah, Mr. Riddick here. Rendix, you have done well. You shall be rewarded in the days to come.
You dragged me from the brink of death and held my face to the light. No further reward is necessary. I have new purpose.
Come now, Rendix. You are nothing if not pragmatist. A pragmatist. I saved your life, yes, but your interests remain your own. It suits you now to align yourself with my cause. That is only loyalty That is the only loyalty I demand.
To bring the Dark Angels to their knees, that is a cause I have no hesitation in supporting.
To bring them to their knees, and to coax them from the ashes of their own ruin. They shall rise again in the name of Luther, and all the many heralds of the false emperor shall burn. Now come, Rendix. Look upon what I have achieved. And on the next page, we see a pretty sizable Iron Warriors fleet. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Look upon the downfall of the Imperium. Speak.
The Ostrog sends word that the Inquisition forces are preparing to move against the Dark Angels.
Just as it was foreseen. The time has come to show our hand. Send word to the fleet. Within the hour, it will be done.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and read some of the comments real quick. So, with regards to the two war bosses, one Grot, Captain Gru says, "We's gonna play hide the thumper." Oh dear. Brother Ole says, Dark Angels interview meeting room. Lions Iman says, how many Dark Angels companies are in the ship? Not really sure. Did you remember how many are there, Xerius? Ah, well.
I think either 1, 2, or 3. I have no idea.
Yes, that sounds about right, I guess. Cool S's says they can't find our hentai. Or hentai. Brother Ole says the Inquisitor is a radical. Yeah, she is. iLoser says Dark Angels and their web browser history, shaking my head. Lions Iaman says, why are you practicing your feminine voice for? Strawman asks, what's the difference between a Necron and a lawyer? One is an emotionless robot with no respect for human life. The other is a faction of Warhammer 40k. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh.
I like it. Cool S's says to iLoser, quick, brother, delete the browser history. And Cool S's also says, shit, they will find our towel homework folder. Oh no. Oh no. Heresy.
Oh, that is a spicy one.
Strawman says, on a Tomb King cocktail party, Khalifa, great Cetra, can thou hand me a Metropolitan? Cetra does not serve. Katep and administration, Cetra rules. Okay. Captain Caboose says to Coolesses, I have, brother. I have also used the heavy flamer on the servitors to make sure. I mean, only one way to be sure, right? Alright, so next page. And I believe Europe.
Indeed.
The secrets of the inner circle must be protected at all costs.
And yet we must not appear to further verify their suspicions through our actions. The Inquisition forces leave us little choice in that regard, Captain. If we do not allow them to board, we as good as admit we have something to hide. And if we fire upon them, we commit outright heresy. I am aware of our predicament, Sergeant. What I seek is solutions.
I fear that choice will be taken out of our hands. The Grey Knights intend to board us regardless.
Make what provisions you can, Altheus. I will not fire upon fellow servants of the Emperor. All evidence of the fallen must be buried. We must give the Inquisition no further reason to suspect the truth. Report!
A rift is A rift is opening in the warp, Captain. It's an enemy battle barge.
Well, that's lovely. So let's.
Oh yes, a battle barge. Oh dear.
Lions Amon says not the homework folder, and iLoser says tell greater goods.
Ooh. I like where this is going. Anyway, next page.
The Iron Warriors have returned.
And they are not alone. I sense his presence among them. The situation grows more dire still, Captain.
Incoming enemy vessels, Justica. Dozens of them. It's an entire fleet. Traitors.
Traitors!
Oh, sorry.
Traitors! Their foul stench permeates even here.
They're training the weapons on us, and not the Dark Angels.
Wanted evidence, Justica.
Prepare for evasive maneuvers. It seems the prognosticators have greatly underestimated the corruption in this sector.
You believe the Dark Angels to be in league with the heretics?
I know only that if they are, then the Imperium faces a peril graver than it has faced in millennia. So let's see some of the comments. Osmegon sends a $10 super chat, says, hope you guys are having fun.
Whoa!
Yes. Thank you very much, Osmegon. And yes, I do think we are actually enjoying it so far.
Did Asmogon just out-simp Nathan? That was an interesting choice.
But well, again, thank you for the $10, Osmegon. Awesome. Cool S's says, "Don't lose hope, brothers. We must make our final stand to preserve the homework folder." Lions Amon says, "Damn, that Inquisitor wants to be inside the Dark Angels very badly." Oh dear. iLoser says,
yes.
"This is what you get when you start with 2 war boss, 1 grot." Strawman says, "So the Grey Knights are like Jedi now." I don't know. Would you consider the Grey Knights to be absolute villains worse than the heretics? Because that's where the Jedi now are, thanks to the High Republic. Anyways, so Brother Ole says, "That's a battle barge. Looks more like an Imperial cruiser, unless the artist didn't have a model or picture of an actual Space Marine battle barge." Yeah, that's something else, too. That's not what a battle barge is supposed to look like. Although, yeah, Captain Caboose says, "That doesn't even look like a Dictator class battle class cruiser." Cool SS says, "After all, our God Emperor wanted to make his webway project to get a low price working. Dark Eldar Women's Service, Emperor protects." In Eldar Gamora, it's not that the women service you, it's that you service the women. Presumably with her with a whip or something. iLoser says to Osmogon, "Out of the hospital, yeah, way more fun. Good to see you, brother. Glad to hear you're feeling better, iLoser." But, and Cool SS says, "Post-Disney Star Wars is not our Star Wars." Yeah, that is true. Unfortunately, it is what Disney wants us. This. It is what Disney wants us to believe is the official canon now. So now Emperor Palpatine did nothing wrong. But anyways.
I'm not listening to anything modern Star Wars related. Just as I'm not listening to anything modern Warhammer related. Because as far as I'm concerned, everything is still in the 41st millennium.
Don't you want to hear about the latest Primaris models?
Say what now?
Sure you don't want to hear about the latest Primaris models that are coming out? That was a joke. Osmogon
would you like to get your dick snapped?
So Osmogon says to iLoser, "Glad to hear it, man." Yep. Glad to hear again, iLosers, that you're out of the hospital. Glad to hear you're feeling better. But anyways, so it's my line, so yeah. The Dark Angels are powering up their weapons. Brace yourselves. Evasive actions. Prepare for battle. Train all weapons on the incoming fleet. Prepare to fire. Captain, the risk. If we strike the Inquisition vessels, we shall not. Very well then.
Plasma cannons armed. Plasma cannons are primed, Captain.
Fire!
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So much for the battle barge. Wait.
So...
Did they? No, they didn't. Okay, well, regardless, so much for this fleet.
That's 3 ships that have been just wrecked, apparently. I mean...
3 ships and 3 others getting hit as well.
I know...
Nice.
Now, granted... My Gothic Armada senses are tingling. That is not how it's supposed to work.
No.
Also, what is it with the... I mean, it's nowhere near as bad, at least, as Marnius Calgar ripping the head off of a Lord of Skulls in one go, but it's still a little
close. It's very close.
It's like they fit
I mean,
the fire.
Granted, these ships are smaller than that, whatever that is. I forget what it is, but still.
It's like they fit the firepower of an entire phalanx into this thing. I mean,
oh man.
All right, so that says, Captain Moose.
That's a very good point, iLoser. That is a very dense formation.
Yeah, that is true. But anyway, so Cool S's says, no, Captain Caboose says to Cool S's, that is why our Lord, some drunk remembrance is canon, along with this Tan's Dark Eldar are canon. Cool S's says, man, those streams are so much fun. I'm not so deep in 40k, but enjoy the lore and models. Maybe one day I will get one just to paint it as hobby. Oi, just think just think they look neat. Yep. Brother Olay says, at least they can shoot and hit something. That is true. Captain Caboose says, I want that firepower and BFG2. Me too, actually. Me too. Cool Essa says, Captain Caboose, those are words of wisdom, my man. Yep. iLoser says, that is a very dense formation. Yep. Brother Olay says, this is better than the Lord of Skulls spinal check by Calgar. I agree. Lions Amen says,
yes,
what the F kind of weaponry that ship have? The only time I saw a ship rip through multiple ships with a single burst was the Vengeful Spirit from Gothic Armada 2. Yes.
And
Carl
of course,
says,
Carl,
no void shields. That, yeah. I mean, to be fair, in Gothic Armada 2, the void shields tend to disappear really quickly, but even this is excessive by that. Cool Essa says, I'm no expert at 40k, but how one ship can do that. I know in 40k bigger is better, but come on, man. That's also the Space Marine ships aren't really known for their firepower. They're known for their armored plating, really, is what they're really, and their boarding abilities. So, at least in my experience with Gothic Armada 2, the Space Marines are really good at close quarters fighting and just ramming enemy ships with the heavy armor they've got. What they're not known for is their firepower, which is what we are seeing on display here. But maybe that's a case of the table of Gothic Armada just not being authentic to what the lore says or something. But anyways.
I mean, it is a game. Just gonna point that out.
It is. So anyways, Cool Essa says, sorry for my bad grammar Ace for when I make time. That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it. All right, so you're up.
It's fine. Imagine their fear, their uncertainty.
Was you doing the voice of him as well, or shall I? I'll do it.
I think it might have been Asmagon that was doing it last time.
Well, that's okay. I can do it. They seek to prove their allegiance to their false emperor. Yet their would-be allies remain distrustful. Now is the time to strike, to worry at a fracture between... To worry at the fracture between them, to crack it open into a fault that might never be repaired. Demon Host, yeah, Demon Host. My bad, you're right. Anyways, you're up.
Index?
I am here.
Did you say... Yep, there we go. Give the order. The bombardment begins. We shall cripple the Dark Angel's vessel and then board them. Oh, and Rendix, no one is to fire upon the Inquisition ships. They must survive this conflict. They have a role to play in what comes after.
Lions Amen says,
didn't-
well, that's not a Space
wait,
Marine
no.
ship. Well, I mean, would you say that this is a Space Marine ship with the Dark Angels emblem on it? I know
Looks like it.
It's technically in service apparently to the Dark Angels, but you're correct that it's not the designs that we see in Gothic Armada. That is correct. But although that could be a case of the writer the artist not knowing what Space Marine ships look like. Brother Olay says
That is a possibility.
Brother Olay says, yeah, Space Marine ships are best at ship-to-ship combat. Demon Host, that is Demon Host, yes. Ilusia says, Astartes are boarding torpedoes, teleportariums, and deep strike galores. If you like powered armored angels, if yeet. You know, powered armored... Yeah, that's pretty much true. Although they do pretty well as ramming ships as well because they're high armor, which I use them for that as well. But yeah, both of those combine to make them really good at close quarters.
Oh, yes.
Captain Caboose says,
it's so
looks
satisfying ramming something with a Starty ship. It
Uh,
just goes smash.
Captain Caboose says to Lions 8, looks like a Grand Cruiser of the Imperium fleet. Yeah, I think you're right. It does look something like that. Cool S says, why the first panel of the first two mouth guy looks like the meme template? It could be a meme template of some sort, I think, but... Tripper Geo says, another live stream about my least favorite chapter, the Dark Angels. Lovely time to get my insults out. That's a Navy frigate. Okay. And PDF for Space Marine chapters have them in usage. Okay. It's not inaccurate. Okay, fair enough. Alright. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the next page. Still a lot of firepower for a ship
Basically,
like
it's just a whole lot of shooting.
that. Yeah.
That is true.
Kaboom.
But now the Iron Warriors are hitting back.
Mm-hmm.
And they're setting out Dreadclaws. Oh boy.
Even the sound of that thing's laughter makes my flesh crawl. Something's wrong. It's taunting. It knows something. I'm calling Sabathiel.
I think I have something that can help with this. What is it, Finch?
It's that thing in the vault. Sorry. It's that thing in the vault. It won't stop laughing. It's almost as if it wants us to go in. Lions Amen says, poor Dark Angels, they just want some peace to watch Lolly hand. No, 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 no. Heresy, heresy, heresy. Lucifer says, or have a drink at their pole.
That is a distasteful joke, even by my standards.
Lucifer says, or have a drink at the pole dance quarters. Cool S's has a face.
Lenny face. Ooh.
So what you're telling me, Lions Amen, is that the Dark Angels browse the Sigmarxism subreddit.
Oh, that was spicy.
Cool Essa says, haha, that voice acting is gold. Phone voice acting is gold. Lions Amen says, yes, brother, some Dark Eldar dancers.
In context, I've been playing VR chat for 3 days straight, and I found an avatar that is literally just Uganda Knuckles, but Gilliman. And one of the actions is him sitting on his throne, and the Emperor from text-to-speech device saying how Gilliman is, like, kind of his favorite sons. And then it cuts off, and now he's wearing glasses. And then there's Eldar, and it just repeats Eldar prostitutes, Eldar prostitutes, Eldar prostitutes.
Oh dear.
And that's all I think about when someone talks about Dark Eldar in this damn chat.
Alright, so Brother Ole says, yep, typical demon host. You can never trust them as long as the Inquisitor shots them after. Cool Essa says, that's why no one likes them. They are Redditorros. It's dark time indeed. Yep, they have to go back. Alright, so next page.
Ignore it.
And what about the enemy fleet? Do we ignore that too?
Hold your fire and stand ready for new orders. Do not engage unless I order it. And Finch?
Yes, ma'am.
No matter what happens, no one is to open that vault.
Time is running short. Soon both the enemy and the Greynauts will be upon us. We must ascertain what the Inquisitor knows. Take a small force and board her ship while she's distracted. And if they know...
Oh, that's a bad idea.
That is a horrible idea.
You idiot.
Why?
Oh.
Why?
Okay, this comic just outdumbed Calgar.
Why? Osbegon, we need you in here to scream fuck again.
Oh, please.
Brother Olay says, oh boy. They're suspicious of us. Let's go board them while we're in the middle of a battle. That will go well. Carl says, who put this
they suspect us of heresy. Let us go board their ship while we are in the middle of fighting heretics.
You know what this reminds me of? Remember, have you ever seen the movie The Happening? Where the guy...
I have not.
But you've heard the memes. Where the guy is trying to say how he's not been affected by the killer plants, and he says, we're perfectly normal, and then just starts singing a song out of nowhere. One of the weirdest things you could do in that situation. And it just... Obviously, everyone... no one buys it. That is what this is. Osmegon is losing it. I loser. Biggie is laughing painfully. Brother Lay says, oh boy. Cool Essa says, did you see those Dark Eldar hips though? Damn.
Well, I mean...
To
be fair, they do have hips though.
Yep. Trooper Geo says, Dark Angels being idiots. I see nothing out of the ordinary here.
Excuse me. I take offense to that.
Brother Olay says, I know they need to keep secrets,
How
but
dare you.
why? Lions Amon says, well, to be fair, Iron Warriors are well known to chapter... okay, so only reasons they allies with the Fallen is to take the lollies. Okay. Loser said, okay, so Amon's chapter... capture. Okay, capture. Okay. Cool Essa says, this comic discussed Rugal Dorn. It big no as he say it. Okay, but anyways.
No. It was cringe, father. Cringe.
I mean, it could be worse. It could still be Marvel's cringe hammer. But... wait, no, I've got it. Marvel's Woke Hammer 40k Martius Cringe Gar. That's what I'm calling it from now on. Anyways, so let me get this line out of the way. And if they know, then you must do what is necessary. I understand, Captain. Yes, that's going to go even better. Not just boarding them, but
Yes.
shooting at them as well after you interrogate them.
Yes.
They're trying to Inquisition the Inquisition. They are trying to Inquisition the Inquisition. Ow!
Oh. This is getting spicy and spicier by the moment.
Coolessa says that voice
Now,
acting is...
go, brother Purity Seal. Go get Boltus. Go get the precious Beaky Boy.
Oh, I must have missed that. Okay. Clank, clank. I am needed, brother. Indeed. I stand ready to serve the inner circle. What is required of me? A mission that might cost our chapter dearly. This will be your final test, Balthus. This will be your most difficult trial. Brother Olay says, what? DY says, I gave up trying to make sense of the situation. I think that's for the best. Cool S says, I approve of that name. Wocammer 40k, Marnius Cringegar. Thank you. Cool S says, Dark Angels be like this. Parry this, filthy casual. Also, Grey Knights. They're boarding the Grey Knights. As in every...
Oh, don't pay attention. Don't pay attention to that. They're just Grey Knights. Oh, no. Sorry. My mistake. They're just Grey Knights in Terminator armor.
Yeah, exactly. Report.
Oh, jeez.
The enemy forces have launched boarding rams, Justicar. They're intending to board the Dark Angel's battle barge.
Those are not boarding rams. Those are Drake
Osbegon, where are you?
How dare you? I am offended. The artist has gone dumb. Honestly, I think it's safe to say that this comic just reached this comic has just reached Marvel Wocammer Marnius Cringegar levels of retardation.
So Trooper Geo says, wait, hold on. How the fuck is a random tactical marine a member of the inner circle? Brother Olay says, Grey Knight Terminators with Nemesis weapons. Loser says, another baby of Ward about to be shit on. Brother Olay says, and mind powers. Trooper Geo says, the inner circle is exclusively made up of only a handful of First Company veterans. Letting a random tactical marine in makes no sense at all. Cool S says, I feel sad they done the Grey Knights dirty. They got nice looking models. Carl says, Jesus Christ, they keep fucking up. Yes, they do. DY says, why did they even bother? Alright, so you're up.
This battle is not but a performance. The Dark Angels seek conference with their traitorous allies. Under the cover of war, see how the Chaos Forces do not open fire upon us. They aim to confuse, to misdirect, while they draw their true plans. We must board their vessel now, before it is too late.
Whatever this truth, the enemy stands brazen before us. Elias, prepare the boarding ram. We shall take the battle to those who have forsaken the Emperor, whoever they prove to be. Thum, thonk, thonk.
Okay, but
thonk, thonk,
is
brappa.
do you mean a boarding ram or a drop pod or a torpedo? What are you referring to at the moment?
I don't know. They think these are boarding rams, though, so...
Even though the Dread Claws. Also, hold on. Why are the Iron Warriors using Dread Claws?
Good question.
I know I know I just noticed that, but you know what? No, I just won't. I just will not.
Lion Amon says, Osmogon, make them repent. Cool S says, comic writer, brain on soy be like.
Asmodai, not Osmogon. Asmodai.
Asmodee. Okay, fair enough. I thought it was just a misspelling of Osmogon.
He pronounced it Asmodee. It's actually Asmodai. You know, that famous Dark Angel's interrogator chaplain.
Alright, so Brother Olay says, no, why? She may be an inquisitor, but by the Emperor, where does she get that idea for the Dark Angels without why? Lions Amon says the Iron Warriors have sent their penetrator. iLoser says just roll with it. Okay. Alright, so let's
just roll with it. Oh, holy crap.
Come, servants of the false emperor. Allow Rendex to show you the light.
Holy crap. He just straight up ripped his spine out. Nice.
Yep.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Trooper Geo says Asmodai kind of cringe, not gonna lie. Alright. So now we have the.
Excuse me?
Uh-oh! Trooper Geo says.
You dare misspeak about the great and mighty Asmodai of the Inner Circle. You dare! Okay, I'm done with that.
Okay. Alright, so let's go on to issue number 11. So apparently there's only one more after this. Brother Olay says the only good in this series is the artwork is better. The artwork is better. The writing is slightly better, but that's... The artwork is...
Okay, how is... I'm sorry, I'm a bit ahead, but how is Rendex just ripping through Deathwing Terminators like they're nothing? I don't like this.
Okay, you're still in voice, by the way.
But
You know, I pressed the button, and it doesn't work.
That's okay. That's okay.
But seriously, Rednex is just over here slicing through Deathwing Terminators like they're nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. That is bad. Stop it.
Alright, so I'm going to do the voice here, so... Ha 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 ha! Where is your corpse, Emperor, now? Shrip? Does he look on as his angels of darkness fall?
Ooh, that's a dreadnought.
Yes, it was.
Oh, hey, a hull brute.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, let's see here. Reinforce the breaches.
I will admit, this fighting going on is pretty nice. This is nice. I like it.
Agreed.
Good. This comic can do action pretty decently. Much better in terms of action when compared to the other comic.
Alright, so... Ugh.
Do you smell that? Do you? It is rich. It is the wretched stink of your hypocrisy. And it will be, and it shall be your undoing.
That sounds like, that looks like it could be a meme format there.
Oh, I see now. Someone get on that. You know what to do.
Yep.
Also, how did his combat knife go right through that armor? Right through the thickest point of the chest?
A very good question.
I don't like that. But like iLoser said, just roll with it.
Mm-hmm. The Inquisition ship is not responding, Sergeant. We have no permission to dock. Permission is not required. Andreal, make us a way in. Aye, Sergeant.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Shoot at them. Shoot at them. Yes.
What?
I swear this is... We went from a comic that has one dumb character to a comic that is an entire chapter company of idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know which one is worse.
They've unironically made Sabathiel right about the Dark Angels.
Yes.
She's got a point. They're a menace at this point. They're fucking attacking a Grey Knight's ship.
Yes.
In the middle of a battle. With chaos.
Well, oh, okay. Actually, that's the Inquisitor's ship, not the Grey Knight's ship.
Okay, well, still.
But there are still Grey Knights on that ship, so yeah.
It's like that one meme I've seen.
Still...
Okay, so what this reminds me of, it reminds me of that one meme about if World War I was a bar fight, where Germany is staring at France and decides to just randomly punch Belgium. That's what this looks like. That's what this reminds me of.
Nice. Good one.
Carl says words can't explain how stupid these guys are. No, it can't. Brother Olay says the Dark Angel secrecy will be the death of him. Yes, it will. All right,
and their stupidity here.
This place appears deserted. I sense a trap. Brothers, be on your guard. This Inquisitor's works to an obscure agenda. It is not beyond her to have anticipated our arrival. Caviel, covering fire!
Oh, then let me get this one.
Boarding ram is ready, just a call. Our passage is clear. Still, the traitors do not return fire.
I cannot yet fathom their motives. They board the Dark Angel's vessel, but ignore our presence as if we were mere gnats.
They sow seeds of confusion in their wake. They seek to distract us from our true purpose, to uncover whatever vile pact has been forged between these heretics. They deceive us with this false war. You sought evidence of the Dark Angel's betrayal. Now you have it. To ignore it is tantamount to heresy. I demand that you board the Dark Angel's vessel. They must be brought to justice.
What say the prognosticators, Lothar?
They are psychic. Su- There are psychic suggestions of an imminent warp incursion in the area. Then the decision is surely made. We must act before it is too late.
Aye, we must seek out the cancerous heart of this incursion and destroy it. Inquisitor, you shall return to your own ship and await instruction.
I await instruction from none but the Emperor himself, Jessica. I shall join you aboard the Dark Angel's barge. There is a reckoning due, and I shall ensure it is administered.
Hold the line! In the name of the Emperor!
Ooh, Mauler Fiend. Nice.
Fall back from the form a blockade! That thing does not pass.
I don't think you have much of a choice, my guy. That's a Mauler Fiend. And you're a bunch of infantry. Oh, rip and tear. Rip and tear.
Alright, so you're up.
Oh, so I am.
He is here. I can sense it.
Then you must seek him out and do what must be done. I shall remain here and hold the line to give you time. Use it wisely. Your sole duty is the persecution of this mission. You must protect the honor of the chapter. And may the light of the Emperor Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's him,
Okay. And may the light of the Emperor guide your hand.
Cool. Next page. Oh, Iron Warrior's Cataphracti Terminator. Hello, beautiful. Nice.
Captain Caboose says...
Although I find it interesting that his power claws are not, well, powered.
Yep. Captain Caboose says, how even Imperial ships don't waste space like that. They're huge, yes, but not like that.
This is true.
Yeah, it does seem excessive. iLoser says, this comic is consistent in its ability to escalate. I'll give them that. That is a fair point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyways, I do have one line here, so allow me.
And...
Ugh! There's the one line.
Oh, I love how I just cannot hear it when you do short things.
Oh, okay. So, apparently...
Yeah, your mic is weird like that.
Apparently, it got one-shotted.
Well, I suppose that... Okay, well, first of all, that's not how plasma works.
Nope.
No, that is more akin to a massive las cannon with how they're showing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what do we expect at this point? Let's be honest.
All right. There. Hera, get back here. You're too exposed. These are Adeptus Astartes. Just a moment. I've almost got the shot. Gah!
A regular human trying to outshoot a space marine. You idiot.
Clang.
Though I find it interesting that she didn't get absolutely blown apart. considering, you know, bolt rounds.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
She's still bleh. She still got pretty messed up there.
I mean, Marnius Calgar even did bolt rounds better than that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, so I think you voice this girl now.
I don't know. You were doing her voice just now.
Okay.
Apparently.
Hera! Or no, sorry. Hera! Anya, no! Ah! Ugh! We must fall back. Defend the vault. Crack, splunge, shunk, snap. Ah, you're up.
Where are we? Oh wow, this guy is just ripping and tearing. He's like the frickin' Doomslayer.
It's the Doomslayer of Space Marines, yeah.
Oh, and he doesn't even care that. He's just gonna kill the Iron Warriors as well.
Apparently.
Such fools to give your lives for such a worthless cause. I mean, you can have your opinions.
All right, so it looks like it is you doing the line.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it is him.
Okay.
No. It's the demon. The demon. You can tell by the shadow. It's the demon.
Oh, okay. The moment is upon
The voices in the boxes.
Sorry. The moment is upon us. They come for you.
I know, and I have waited millennia for them to come. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, that was what it ran through my mind as well. Captain, they're still coming. Oh no.
Stop. Cease this at once. We are stopping this joke
Yes.
now.
The proximity alarm. Fall back.
Hey! It is a ram. They did take a ram ship. Okay,
What?
so yes. Okay. You see, Grey Knights got it right. Apparently, well, okay, they got it right when it came to their own stuff, but Iron Warriors, apparently, they don't know that. Dumbasses.
What? Creak clunk.
Oh, look at that shot.
Yep.
Just got a bunch of Grey Knight Terminators coming up to kick everyone's asses.
For the Emperor.
Well, so I'm gonna say it now. That ram ship. Oh, I love the look of it.
Agreed.
There are some people that don't like the look of the weird name ram ship thingy that I forget the name of, but personally I love it, especially in Imperial Fist colors, because it looks and feels like something that could punch through a ship, regardless of what it is, and I like it.
All right, so I believe you're up.
And
Or I don't know who's up next. Oh no, I'm up. Okay. Purge the heretics. All of them. To be continued.
Yeah,
So,
but who do you consider heretics now?
good question.
That is the question.
So, let's go ahead and go to the final issue, shall we?
Yes, let us finish this.
And you're up.
Oh, that is badass.
Yes, it is.
That is a badass shot if I've ever seen one.
And so the lion stepped from the darkness, and saw that there was light. And that light said unto him, Go forth, and conquer your fear. For our enemies are naught but fear incarnate, and only through smiting might we be free.
Very inspiring speech, Chaplain.
Mm-hmm.
Kidoki, next panel. That Iron Warrior's Cataphractic Terminator just got his head smashed by that storm shield.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. That had to hurt.
Agreed.
Oh, that is an interesting shot. You got a bunch of Iron Warriors and Dark Angels killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just got this crazy numbnut in the middle. It's like something out of Joker. Or something. I don't know. He looks weird. He looks nuts.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Just a box. Ow, my ears.
So they're getting ready to fight. That's cool. Advance. They are guarding something. Something the Inquisitor does not wish us to see. Well, I suppose this is it. We knew she'd bloody well lead us to our deaths in the end. Can't say she wasn't right about them, though. On my mark, fire!
What is that? What does that Jakero have? Why does he just have a magic ring? Also, I'm gonna say this now. That is anyone who's thinking about being in the 41st millennium, do not try and outshoot Space Marines. Unless you have something bigger than a Space Marine.
Yep.
Because as we see on the next page, you will get torn apart.
Yeah. Lion's Amen says, is that monkey shooting lasers from his fingertips? Okay, screw this comic. He has one ring to rule them all. Unfortunately, this being Warhammer 40k, the power of the ring was not enough. Scream!
Look at all those things exploding.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you don't see the explosions, you just see the meaty chunks going splat. But still, nice.
Sabathiel was right. Sabathiel was right. You're all traitors, every one of you. It is you who had wavered from the path of righteousness. You who has been led astray, and in your blindness taken steps towards heresy and damnation. From that there can be no return.
Nice.
Over there, that's what they're trying to protect. There's more of them, driven into madness by the depths of their own heresy. No, can you not sense it? What lies behind that door? It is heresy incarnate. Then it must be destroyed.
Oh, you... they keep... I'm losing brain cells from this. Do you hear me? Brain cells are being lost.
Cool Essa says, I would prefer to be in the Middle Ages than Warhammer 40k if you ask me. You know you could be both, right? Feudal worlds are a thing.
Indeed.
So yeah, you could be in the medieval ages in Warhammer 40k. Just because your life couldn't suck possibly enough. In that.
Indeed.
Just, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's a horrible... But anyways, Cool Essa says, where is the monkey that can also shoot laser... Why is there a monkey that can also shoot laser from his finger? Are we in the same comic or what? Brother Olay says, oh boy, more secret digging. Carl says, and he just fucking opens it. Yeah.
Yep.
Next page. Welcome. You're perfectly on time. Make for the blockade. All right, so it looks like they're about Dark Angels
this is
and
gonna be
Greats
interesting.
are about to fight, or not.
Oh. I just saw one of those cataphractic Terminators had a Phobos pattern Stormbolt combi bolter. Damn, that looks nice.
All right, so Captain Seraphis, I gave you permission. I gave you no permission to board my vessel, Brother Justicar. But as you are here, you might assist me in dealing with my little infestation.
Save your posturing, Captain. Brother Justicar Leofric has been prize of your treachery. The time of the Dark Angels is at an end.
Mind your words, Inquisitor. You know nothing of the Dark Angels. I shall not tolerate such accusations on my ship. Brappa.
Bono.
Nor shall I entertain them. You are misguided. My brothers and I stand with the Emperor for the glory of the Imperium. See you not the battle that rages around you? See you not how we smite the foul agents of chaos?
Ooh. This is gonna be an interesting one. I have not come here to fight you, brother. I bear gifts of enlightenment, of hope. I come to show you the path of forgiveness.
You forwent the right to call me brother when you turn from the Emperor's light. There is no path that you might show me. Yet, I sense in you a desire for reconciliation. You can yet be saved, in spirit, if not in body. Come with me now. I shall be your redemption.
You misguided fool. I seek not to repent. I bear no allegiance to the false emperor, who wallows upon his carrion throne, while all around him crumbles. Do you not see? All this I have done for you.
All right.
Next page then. Ooh, interesting. On Xerion, I showed you and your brothers the horror of the ancient rift in our legion. What? No, wait.
And our
On
legion has
Xerion,
come.
I showed you and your brothers the horror, the rift, the ancient rift in our legion had caused, the devastation that was left in our wake. They, too, while you toiled on the field of battle, I secured the second of two ancient weapons, the tools by which the very fabric of reality had once been so gloriously wounded. On Tenteroth, I posed as one of you. I dissuaded the barons from committing the armies to a lost cause. For Xerion was always destined to fall as it did. In the Pandrosar ring, where time bends in kind with the waxing and waning of the warp itself, I planted my weapon along with a little distraction to keep you occupied. While on Quintus, I was forced to intervene, assisting your forces where the Xeno scum had thought to get the better of you. Weird. Do you see? Everything that has occurred here in the Califrax cluster has been my design. My design. And all of it has led to this moment. For, Brother Chaplain, I come to offer you a choice.
Explain yourself. On time for what?
Come now, is it truly so difficult to comprehend? Perhaps so. I see that you do not yet fully understand. Allow me to show you. Eons
Oh,
ago,
yay! More exposition. Oh, jeez.
eons ago, in the warp, in the ashes of warp in, eons ago, in the ashes of warp-ridden Xerion, I happened upon a tortured soul in dire need of nourishment, a fallen angel betrayed by his own brothers and long abandoned. I saw in him the seeds of greatness, a mold from which others may be cast, and so it was that a great plan was set in motion. Then the seeds of my revenge were planted. Millennia passed like waking dreams, as slowly those seeds bore fruit. One such seed took the form of a pious woman, so pure in intent, so blinkered in her beliefs that she could not see the path I had laid before her. She, like the fallen angel before her, became an instrument of my creation, a tool of my revenge. For I sought nothing less than the downfall of an entire legion, in payment for the wrong that was served against me by their father, the one known as the Lion. And now, at long last, the hour of destruction nears. The threads are drawn. All is as it was foretold. All shall come to pass.
Okay, but what has Gilliman got to do with any of this? I can't be the only one thinking about that, right?
Good
I mean,
question.
yeah, we get why the lion is here, it's kind of obvious, but Gilliman? Why? I don't get it.
All right. No, it shall not come to pass. I stand as the lion once stood before you, as shield, as executioner, and I shall banish you back to the hellish warp from whence you were spawned. And so it has come to pass, and my freedom is granted. No!
You idiots! You don't just shoot a demon host. That is the incorrect way to deal with a demon host. I mean, there was a reason it was locked up and kept in a box in the first place. I honestly don't know what's worse. Marnius Calgar or the last few issues of this comic.
Marnius Calgar remains this way throughout the entire series.
I mean, true, but at least Marnius Calgar is only messing up one character and a bit of a chapter, whereas this is messing up a whole bunch of characters.
Well, Marnius
and
Calgar...
an entire battle barge worth of Space Marines.
Marnius Calgar also messes up Hellbrutes, Lords of Skulls, the Inquisition itself.
Yeah, true that.
Loser says badass entrance, then slowly drowning in bullshit. Yeah, pretty much. Carl says, I feel so much stupidity from this, it hurts. It really does.
Yeah, I have lost several sections of brain cells reading this.
It has gone. We must go after it. No. We must report our findings to Master Seraphis directly. Master Seraphis?
I'm sorry, how are you going to go after it?
A good question. Go ahead, Valiant.
It's gone away. Oh, I don't like this anymore.
Go ahead, Valiath. Master, we have discovered a bond entity on the Inquisitor's vessel, a creature of the warp, held in shackles in a vault. Its physical form has been dispatched along with the crew who attempted to protect it, but only after it taunted us with talk of our impending destruction and the web of lies it has weaved through its manipulation of the Inquisitor herself. Relay evidence immediately, Valiath. As you wish, Master. Here's a pic capture from Balthus's HUD. You harbor a foul creature of the warp. You bring it here amongst us, and you dare to board my vessel, my ship, and speak of heresy? I see this
Inquisitor.
I see this now for what it is. That which begets heresy might see only heresy.
No, I am but a tool of the Emperor's will, and that creature is a tool of mine. I had bound it to my will, manipulated it into revealing the truth behind the heresy of these traitors.
You sought the council of demons.
I sought the truth, through whatever means proved necessary. We must root out the heresy that festers in the heart of the Imperium. We must cleanse it with fire. There can be no exception.
Now finally you speak the truth. Yay!
Yes. Yes. Woo! It is time for celebration as the inquisitorial psycho bitch is dead. Oh.
Agreed.
At long last. I don't have to voice her anymore. Yeah, but at least the Grey Knights didn't go full on crusade on the Dark Angels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this guy was actually somewhat what's the word? Open-minded, I suppose, about the situation. You know, not jumping to conclusions like the Inquisitor did.
Yeah. All right, you're up for
But
some more lines.
Anyway. Yep. She's dead, so we shouldn't care anymore. Though I wish he would have aimed for the head. Anticlimactic, but I'll take it. Our loser says.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can agree there.
But
But
the comic's not
I
quite
mean-
over, so there is more.
yeah. There's still the chaplain and the fallen to go through. Carl says, "We did it, boys. The heretic is dead." Yes, it is.
Yes.
Excuse me. Woohoo, more voice acting. Good voice acting. Big manly voice. Here, then, is your choice. Relinquish yourself to me now. Cast aside the false emperor, and I shall stand this weapon down. All shall know the truth of our legion. They shall hear of Luther's great sacrifice, and the Imperium shall quake in fear as its first legion crumbles. Or destroy me and unleash the time-ravaging storm of the Pandusar. All in the Califrax cluster shall be lost, engulfed in the warp for an eternity of torment. It matters not. Either way, you shall learn the truth.
All of this because you refuse to acknowledge the grave era of judgment you were party to. All that time ago. In your blindness, you seek to corrupt others, where in truth, you desire only to admit your own weakness and heresy.
I know that you have suffered. I can end that suffering.
No, that's the...
I shall redeem you. Yeah, I know it's the chaplain, but he's taking off his helmet.
Oh, okay.
Redemption. Such a powerful word, and yet so utterly meaningless. The only thing that matters now is the choice you face. Like Luther before you, you stand at a precipice. Say the word, and I shall deactivate the weapon. We shall all be saved. Or rain fire down, or rain fire upon me, and damn all of us to a fiery death in the screaming hell of the war. Next page. There is no choice. There never was. Wait, did he just gangster shoot this fallen with his
Yep.
bolt pistol?
Yep.
He totally just did. Oh, hell yeah. Aww. Brother Ole says, smack him over the head with the helmet.
And him rightly with it.
Oh man, actually, I would have liked to see that now.
I agreed.
But still, it's still nice, I do suppose.
All right. Deet, 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 deet. Kaboom. And so it ends as it began. In darkness and in light. In fear and intolerance. No! Without hope or redemption. The warp convulses, and reality bends to take on new forms. Wheels turn. New opportunities present themselves. Past and future become malleable. All is as foreseen. And yet, the end is only the beginning. For a far greater storm awaits. A storm that will shake the very fabric of the universe. A great hope and a great darkness. A war that will end all wars. So it is foretold. So it shall be. The end for now.
What do you mean the end for now? I didn't see any other comics.
Agreed.
Oh, wait. Okay, it says next issue, Death Watch. Ooh.
Huh.
Okay. Okay, you have my attention. I will see if I can find that for us.
Yeah. Cool S says, called it. Ilusa says, wow, called it on the Tentacle Party. Lions Amon says, and then they lived happily ever after the end. Yeah, if they were orcs, that would be happily ever after, yes. Cool S says, she's getting bullshit revived. Oh god, I think you're right. Alright, but yeah, so that was Will of Iron, the final issue of it. Although looks like we're going to have to read Death Watch at some point. Ultimately, what are your thoughts, Xerius?
Well, if I can find Death Watch, I hope I can. Well, overall thoughts, I enjoyed the artwork. It was pretty nice. The storytelling was alright at the beginning, but it just went downhill at the end.
It started good, but yeah. I agree.
I definitely enjoyed the chaplain, though I question his decision to pretty much commit mass genocide on not only himself, the heretics, the Grey Knights, but also the entire battle barge and pretty much everyone else.
Mm.
Well, I'm assuming they're all dead because, you know, they're getting sucky into the warp. That was a weird decision. Overall, it was okay. I'll give a 7 out of 10 for artwork, 5 out of 10 for the beginning writing, and a 4 out of 10 for the end, for the writing towards the end.
Okay. Alright, fair.
Overall, I'd say 6 out of 10.
Not bad.
What about you?
I'd say it's... For me, I think the writing started off better, but it went downhill much more in these later issues. But yeah, the artwork I will admit though, the artwork I do actually like. So I am right with you on that one. Brother Olay
Ignoring
says
some of the mess ups.
yes. Brother Olay says better than Marvel's attempt. Agreed. Lions Amon says, oh shit, the FBI are here. iLoser says the action was well done. I agree. That is true also. Cool.
I do believe I've just found Deathwatch.
All right.
Yes, I have. Oh, it's a Okay, so from the quick visual skim, it's kind of a continuation. It's definitely going to be a lot more interesting, I reckon. So I'm just going to grab that, send you a link.
Cool.
And maybe put up a poll between Skullduggery Pleasant Book 1, Deathwatch, and the High Republic Adventures. Let's see what the people want.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I think that'll be an interesting way to do it. All right. Well, I think we are at a good time to call it, though. So, yeah, this has been Ace.
This has been Xerius.
And we both hope you have enjoyed the live stream. But, yeah, we will go ahead and see you all again next time. Have a good one.
See you later, boys.